Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Henny Goes Outside. We are in West Virginia once again. This time we were in the mountainous area, but we're probably like what they call like in a valley area. If you can hear this behind me, I have a nice little creek going on back here. Um, Unfortunately, the road is also just right there, so hopefully there's not that much traffic coming through tonight. There are definitely campsites all through here. Um, the nearest one's maybe like a quarter mile down there. And another one's probably a quarter mile to a half mile down that way. I do have a new piece of equipment that I'm going to try out tonight. It is the Haven XL lay flat hammock. Uh, we're going to try this out because this might be something I take on the backpacking trip if I have a good night's sleep in it. We're going to try to string it up between that tree right there, which in the camera is probably more like right there. And then there's also one like directly behind me that we're going to post it up on. And then, of course, we'll set up the table and the chair. That's actually going to probably be more behind the camera because that's like a flatter area. Um, and then, yeah, we'll come on back. All right. Um, just been kind of setting up everything with, just general stuff. I got my cook set out here. I got the stove out, cooler out, and everything. As I've been walking around, I've been just finding random stuff. I found somebody's, what do they call it, a ferro rod? I've been looking for the other part of it, but so far I haven't located it. There's a bunch of trash around here. Like I was looking up here and I can just now see a beer bottle, and I can't tell from here if it's like a Monster can or some type of beer can. It's probably a beer can. Uh, People, the sign says, it's right there. Leave no trace. Leave no trace. Um, so don't be assholes. Pick your shit up whenever you leave. Um, I know, but you say, oh, there's people like me that's going to pick it up for you, so why should you? Listen, you're going to ruin it for the rest of us if you don't fucking take care of it. I know, I use some expletives, but it's because people like you piss me off. Um, but anybody that comes into spots like this and picks up after themselves, I guess picks up after other people as well, I have respect for you. But it's the assholes that just leave their shit laying around for other people to come get. Those guys, they don't deserve spots like this. And gals, they don't deserve to be at a place like this. Few moments here, I'm gonna come on back and start making up dinner. Tonight, I'm gonna make some tacos. Um, I just gotta find the little jar I put all my seasonings in, mixed up, because I usually do my own taco seasoning mix with like garlic powder, dried onions, um, paprika, chili powder, cumin. And if I want to add a little bit of extra kick to it, I'll do like ancho chili powder, which this one has in it. Um, so yeah, I'll bring you back here in a little bit with that. Until then, I'll see you here in a few moments. Oh, a hard Mountain Dew. At least that one's decent. welcome on back. I've started cooking everything here. Got the hamburger in there. Need to break it up a little bit. Seasoning. Like I said, I know it says barbecue, twisted barbecue on it, but this is actually my little spice blend for tacos. Probably the only time I'll actually ever measure anything. Alright, I need to turn this down a little bit, I think. There we go. I think I did tacos one other time on the channel. Well, it was like a walking taco. Tonight we're going to do an actual taco. Bought myself some corn tortillas. I don't have any oil or anything like that to put in the pan, so we're just going to kind of brown them in the skillet or warm them up in the skillet. Didn't want to bring any of the oil, just so if I had any left over in the pan, you know, you got to find a way to dispose of it. Also, oil's not good for you, right? Vegetable oil. Although I could have probably done like an olive oil or avocado oil. Actually, I kind of like the avocado oil. Gonna have myself a beer, a root beer. Aren't I punny? I was really wanting a root beer for some reason, so I went ahead and bought that for the trip. But I will actually have a beer a little bit later on. I need a bar stool camping chair so I can sit up here and cook. But you guys know the drill. Generally on this, I will start the cooking and then bring you back when it's done. Just because I know this does take a little bit. So once everything is ready to go, I'll bring you on back. Alright everybody, here we go. One of my little tacos. As you can see, the tortilla is a little overdone, but here we go. First one's for free. You gotta pay for the rest. Definitely could use some hot sauce, but other than that, it's pretty dang good. As I lose my lettuce all over the place. Alright, I'm gonna make some more tacos and then I'll bring you back here a little bit later. Alright everybody, I did a little housekeeping off of camera. The tree that I initially had the hammock hanging up to when I was sitting there eating, you know, now that the sunlight wasn't directly in my face, I could see that it is a dead tree. And because of that, I did go ahead and untie it from that one and actually move it over to a tree that's closer to everything. And then while I was at it, I went ahead and pulled out the rainfly, just because I don't want to wake up covered in morning dew whenever the morning is here. So I went ahead and pulled that out. It's going to give me a chance to, I guess, also test the ventilation with the rainfly out. Also went ahead and started the fire which is currently going right now. But yeah, it's been fairly peaceful. Only a couple cars have driven by since I've, you know, pretty much set up everything. But we are out here getting ready to have a couple of drinks. I did get in there, and for a moment, I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna stay here. I'm not gonna get out of the hammock. But can't do that, because if I do that, I'll wake up at like 3 a.m. and won't be able to go back to sleep, and then who knows what happens. But yeah, I'll bring you back here momentarily in front of the fire, also in front of the creek there. So I'll see you here in maybe another 20 or 30 minutes. All right, everybody. I'm back. I've already had most of a beer, just sitting here by the fire, looking at the river, creek, whatever you wish to call it. Like a lot of times, like, I try to give you guys the view whenever I'm sitting down here doing these campfire talks. Also, if I did it the other way and I was facing the creek, I mean, you guys get the road and you're going to see people coming by if anybody does come by. Luckily, I would say in total, since I've been here, maybe 5 cars have gone by, 6 tops. It's definitely a lot less busy than definitely a lot less busy than the last camp I did. And then a lot of people wanted to come, like, I guess because I was at a spot, you know, and I wasn't really like in a visible area on that spot. The previous one, you know, Site 13 in the Motor Basin area, that one that was on top of the mountain, or on top of, it wasn't on top of a mountain itself, but one that was overlooking all those mountains. That one had a lot of people coming up to see if the spot was taken or not, and then leaving. The other spot, the one I did at the pond, that one was more of a people driving by because there was just a road there. And then, of course, maybe 3 or 4 videos ago, possibly even 5 videos ago, maybe, where I did the bigger creek. That one was basically on a main road. And when I did the initial scouting, I had really no idea that anybody, like, that it was that busy, because only maybe 1 car had gone there in like the hour that I was just checking the area out. But yeah, so first beer I've had tonight was the All Day IPA. I don't know if it's going to focus in here. We'll tap on this, see if we can get it to focus in on there. Should be okay. Let's get me out of the picture. It's their summer shandy. It's got a nice lemony flavor to it. Very similar to a Leinenkugel. I believe that's Leinenkugel. It has a very, yeah, Leinenkugel. Heck, I even feel like the can is very similar to the Leinenkugel can, but it's nice and refreshing. It's got a low alcohol volume on it too, so you don't have to feel guilty if you drink 3 or 4, just because you're probably not going to feel too much of the effects on it. Yesterday, I got together with some of the guys, played Battlefield 6. As you know from other videos in the channel, on the channel. Like, I even played a game on there one other time, and we'll do that here a little bit later tonight. Definitely big into gaming. So we played Battlefield 6, probably the most fun I've had in a shooter game in quite some time. Started playing around probably about 8:30, just shortly after I got Kelso to bed, and played until about midnight. Just having a good old time, having a blast. Game looks great too, plays great. It's not officially released yet. This is kind of the beta mode. So I think they're doing that this weekend and next weekend, and then the game officially will release in October. So I think we're about 2 months out. I think it's October 4th. But yeah, definitely looking forward to that. Yeah. So the other day, I ran my first sub 11-minute mile in quite some time. And I know you're like, oh, 11 minutes, that's slow. Yeah. I understand. I know I'm slow. Okay, I get it. But considering like all the injuries and all that stuff that I seem to keep on dealing with whenever I start running again, and I know you'll say go do something else, some other exercise, but I love to run. Okay, I love it. It's just now that I'm getting a little bit older in my 40s, it's taking more of a toll on my body, especially since the previous 25 years that I've been doing it. It finally starting to catch up to me. So like my knee will hurt, and like I was doing something with that, and then finally healed that up and figured out it was because of like my bad form. And then like my Achilles started hurting, so I had to wait for that to heal up. And like just things seem to happen as I run. It probably doesn't help that I don't really warm up properly or cool down properly, but the other day I was feeling good out there running. Boom, ran a 10:59, under 11 minutes, and that was about a minute and a half faster than what my normal average would have been. Or I guess normally I do like a 12:20 as an average, and usually when I do that first mile, it's like 12:15 or something like that. And so this one, when it was at 10 minutes and 59 seconds, I was like, yeah, like running, like, yeah, I did it. I got it. So I've just been, like I said, working on things like my form and stuff like that to make sure I'm not messing up my legs anymore, so I can continue to do it. Also, losing the weight. Went from I think I was 243 down to like, we bounce around right about now between 223 and 225. So, anywhere between 17 and 20 pounds I've lost. So that's helping out everything as well, just cutting the weight. But yeah, it feels good to be doing that. It's hard for me to be consistent though. I love the warm weather. So, basically when we start getting into that April time frame, I'll start going outside and running and do that all up until probably sometime in October when it starts getting cold. I got to utilize the treadmill that we have inside more to help keep that running going. But with some things that Liz is doing to the area where the treadmill is currently at, we're thinking about moving that out to the garage. And if that's the case, it's cold out there. It's a detached garage with no electricity, so it's cold out there. So I don't know how much running I'll be doing, but I'll have to figure out something. Maybe I'll look into joining a gym during the winter time so I can go get my running in. I have been spoiled for a very long time, since 2020 for the most part. I've been able to work from home on my normal job. And then I think it was 2024, beginning of 2024. I think it was beginning of last year. They started bringing us to the office one day a month. And I pretty much knew at that time they were going to start working something together to get us in the office more often. And right now they're slowly transitioning us, and like starting next month, we'll be going into the office once a pay period, and then it's going to transition into twice a week. And then it's my theory from there, they're just going to eventually make it so it's full time back in the office which my office is in downtown Pittsburgh, but there's other offices located nearby. I have an office that's probably about 5-6 miles from the house that I'm debating on transferring over to, just so I don't have to worry about, number one, the parking over there is free. It's only 5 miles away. So that way, even in Pittsburgh traffic, maybe 20 minutes tops to get home. It'll still allow me to probably get out of work at like 5 o'clock and be able to go pick up Kelso at daycare and not to worry about getting any extra fees because he's there past 5:30. That's the big thing that we're worried about, is those days where it looks like Liz is going to start back up on the busy season again, and she's not going to be able to leave the office early to go pick him up. So on those days, we can't afford to be paying an extra, I think it's $50 if he's there past, like, until 6 o'clock. So they increment it. So I think the first 15 minutes is like $15 or something like that. And then like every 5 minutes after that, it's like another $5 or $10. I can't remember. Like it somehow equals out to like $50 though, for if he were to be there until 6. So we got to figure out something with that. And then with how how everything is done at the office, whenever you do shift selection, it's based on seniority. And at my office, I maybe outrank 2 people, 3 people tops. And all of us are already working a weird shift anyways. Yeah, it's not very good for the daycare thing. But yeah, as I was saying, I'm jumping around a little bit. Later on, I'm going to break out the Steam Deck. Ninja Gaiden released a new game, kind of in the old school style of like the Nintendo era, the early 90s, late 80s, the Nintendo era. Yes, if you're watching this and you're probably not 40 years or older, you probably don't really know too much about the old school Nintendo. You're more of like a Switch or a Wii person at this point. But yeah, it was maybe like a 12 by 12 square, gray with a black stripe down the side. You put in a big fat cartridge, played 8-bit games. So this has like the 8-bit art style, but it's definitely more improved than 8 bits. So yeah, we'll play that a little bit later tonight. Let me get another log on this fire. Ooh. Ooh, that would have been a good one for chopping down later for kindling, but we're not. Prepare for the flames. Now, if anybody was wondering, like, yes, I do have a saw in the truck. I do usually buy wood and bring with me on stuff like this, because it's easier to do. Also, some of the places that I've researched, like you're not allowed to even take like dead fallen trees and stuff like that. So just to make my life easier, if I'm in the truck, I'll go buy a couple bundles of wood, bring it with me, just to make it easier. That way I don't have to worry about if I'm not supposed to be cutting down anything or cutting it up, because like I said, some places the fallen wood you can't even use. Now granted, am I going to get caught? Probably not, but I also don't want to get caught and then get a fine or something like that. So typically especially since I'm coming down here. You know, there's a store that's on the way. They have bundles of wood that's right there. So I just go ahead and pick it on up on my way here. Yeah. What else? Good stuff. Crunch. I guess technically that's my second beer of the night because I had the root beer. Look at those flames. What's next? Oh, I know which one I wanted to try. I still have one of those Michigan beers from the last trip. I don't drink very often. I actually only really drink whenever I come out here, and then occasionally, like when I'm gaming or something like that, I'll crack open a beer. Like I had 2 last night whenever I was playing games with everybody. But yeah, here's this one's from New Holland. It's an oatmeal stout. I don't know how well that's going to pick it up right now. And actually, I'm going to probably stop recording here for a second just to see how I'm getting picked up on the camera here. So I'll be back here in just a moment. Yeah, okay. Completely forgot what I was talking about. I went to go get a light for on top of the camera. And then there was some battery things going on. And I completely forgot where we were going. Anyways, I'll bring you back here in a little bit for some campfire video gaming. And then we still got to do the nightcap. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome in for the nightcap. This week brought to you by Zombie Dust, a beer I've had on the channel before. Like I said, I don't drink too often, so a lot of times if I buy a 6-pack and I drink 2 or 3 of the beers, you know, the rest go home and they sit in there until the next camping trip. Tonight's nightcap is going to be the guilty pleasures. I guess a guilty pleasure for myself is professional wrestling. It was one of those things that as a kid, I absolutely loved it. Growing up, huge fan of like the 90s stuff. Like I love Sting, love the Ultimate Warrior. And then as I got a little bit older, I started liking, I guess, the people that were doing the high flying moves. Like the first person I think I remember ever seeing doing like a moonsault was maybe Shawn Michaels. And then I remember whenever WCW started their Monday night show, they started bringing in luchadors and stuff like that from Mexico. And they started doing, like you see all the backflips and the diving out of the ring and all that stuff. And it just made it exciting. something I hadn't seen before, you know, and now everybody does that stuff. But then the Attitude Era, the NWO, I loved all that stuff when I was growing up. And then 2003, when I joined the military, when I was in the barracks, I didn't have cable. I couldn't afford to have cable. So I didn't watch wrestling. I basically watched the channels I had were the basic ones: ABC, Fox, CBS, NBC. I think I might have got PBS or something like that as well. And then just random channels, like some channel that maybe was like playing classic TV shows all the time. So I didn't watch it, and whenever I went to Korea, my roommate there, he watched it. So for the most part, I worked night shift, so he'd be home, and while I was getting ready to go to work, he would have Monday Night Raw on, which was there. It was on a Tuesday, but he'd be watching that while I was getting there, and I would pay attention to it. I'm familiar with some of the people from that mid 2000 time frame, like the Chris Jerichos and really, I mean, outside of the people that I was growing up with, I mean, Triple H was around at the time too. But yeah, anyways, left Korea, went back to the States, wasn't watching wrestling. And then I think it was in 2021, Liz and I went over to a friend of ours' house for a game night and a get together and stuff like that. And it also happened to be the same night as WrestleMania, night one. And we had a good time. We were watching it. We were enjoying it. All the stuff that was happening in it. And then basically from there, I started watching it again. I was hooked. But yeah, since that time frame, with the exception of this year, because it was Easter Sunday or Easter weekend, and we used Easter weekend to go down to Liz's church that she grew up in Virginia, that she went to all the time growing up, and we'll go there whenever we come back and visit and stuff like that. So we went down there, got Kelso baptized on Easter Sunday. So we didn't watch the WrestleMania with him this year. And then the last 3 years now, I think it's been 3 years now, we've been doing SummerSlam at our house. And so last weekend when everybody came over, we did SummerSlam. I made a pulled pork. So we watched wrestling. So my guilty pleasure is wrestling. I know in terms of the outcomes, that's all scripted and everything like that. But I mean, I've fallen down quite a few times and it doesn't feel good. So the falling is definitely real. Also, it's just one of those things to watch. I guess it's up there with that reality trash TV type stuff, there's so much wrestling out there. You could probably watch it every single day of the week if you wanted to. But yeah, that's my guilty pleasure, wrestling. Hope you all have a good night. I'll see you in the morning. All right, welcome on back, everybody. Since this is my first time sleeping inside of this hammock, this tent, just want to kind of bring it back to kind of give you guys a look, just in case you've never seen one before. But this thing's been out for several years, so I'm pretty sure if you're interested, you would have looked at it by now, seen other videos about it. But one thing I'm noticing now that I've been in it here for 20 minutes or so, the sides are mirrored, so you don't have to dedicate one side to your head and one side to your feet. Basically, there's 3 pockets on each side. There's a decent sized one here, probably about hand size. Actually, if I had my phone and had service, that's probably the one I would use for my phone, because it's the most horizontal one, and I'd be using that to watch YouTube. There's a dedicated phone pocket actually over here that I have my rag in right now. There's a bigger pocket behind me, which I have my drink and my keys in. I don't have my phone here right now just because I don't have service, so there's really no point. They do give you like if you were to just buy the hammock by itself, without the whoopee straps, they give you 2 like 1-inch carabiners that you can hang stuff from, which is currently which some of them are currently being used. Like one I got my fan hanging up on right now, which is actually right above here, and then I have a light hanging on one of the bigger ones that actually came with the whoopee strings that I don't need because, you know, I've already got the other straps. So yeah, there's the bigger ones, and then there's also a couple of loops in the middle that you can hang stuff on, which is actually what I have like a battery hanging from right now. So I do have my Steam Deck in here. Once I get done filming this, I'm gonna play a little bit more of Ninja Gaiden. One thing I'm gonna have to try to figure out or learn about is the rainfly, because when I got in it, you know, laid down, like on the left hand side here, it's maybe only like 6 inches away, 6-7 inches away from the screen, so that's kind of impeding some airflow. This side over here still looks like that's kind of good, so I don't know if it's maybe something where I got in it and it pulled out some stakes over there, and now it's now it's kind of sagging a little bit or something. I don't know. I guess we'll find out in the morning. But you know, if it were to rain or something like that tonight, which it's not supposed to, it would definitely, like, I've definitely stayed dry in terms of like the water's not going to come in through the screen because rain's blowing in. Now if there's a leak or something, that's a different story, but something we won't be able to test out tonight. Anyways, I'm going to play some more Ninja Gaiden. It's only probably about 10 o'clock. Yeah, it's 9:59. My phone the watch faded away. It's 9:59. I'm going to play some more Ninja Gaiden and probably be heading to bed here in the next 30 minutes to an hour. You all have a good night. See you in the morning. Good morning, everybody. We are up here. There's a slight little chill. Don't quite know what the temperature is. I'd probably say it's in the 50s. I could probably go turn on the truck and check, but we're not going to do that today. We are going to take down the hammock. I was thinking there was going to be a lot of morning dew on the hammock this morning, but it's dry. Everything's dry. Even the table I left out is still dry. So I guess it didn't hit that dew point last night, which I thought it would. But yeah, we're gonna pack everything up and we're gonna head on out. We are packed up and ready to go. Once again, I just want to thank everybody for stopping by and watching. If you haven't done so already, hit that subscribe button. Also, likes, comments, anything like that. Like I said, if you guys, I've said this in other videos, if you guys have questions, feel free to ask them. Especially with being a small channel right now, I'm pretty good at getting through and responding to comments and stuff like that. If you do have like a question and you want me to answer it on a video, put it on there. Make sure you say, hey, answer this on the next video or something like that. Otherwise, I'll probably type that out in the comment, answering your question. Whenever I came in yesterday, I came in from that direction. I actually drove down this whole particular track just to find what campsites were out there. So instead of going back that direction, I think I'm going to go down to the inn here because there was another road, and I'm going to take that further down and just kind of see where it leads. Since I did wake up early, I woke up at probably 6:30, and then I laid in the hammock until probably 6:50, 7 o'clock, something like that. So right now it's still pretty early, so if I take a little detour to head home, it shouldn't be too much of a problem. I'm still going to probably get home before 12 or 1 o'clock. But yeah, everybody, I do appreciate it. We still have that goal of 500 subscribers to do a stealth camp. The last couple of videos, like the channel's not growing like exponentially or anything like that, but I am seeing steady growth and all that. So I do appreciate everybody that is stopping by, hitting that subscribe button. It's definitely appreciated. But yeah, I'm gonna head on out of here and see what lies that direction, and maybe do a camp down there. Yeah, so we'll see you here in a little bit.